Hey guys, welcome to another speed build. I hope you're all having a wonderful day and I hope you're staying nice, warm, and safe out there. And I truly hope none of you have been affected by any of those storms. And if you have, then I hope you have all of the resources that you need and that you have not lost power, or at least have not lost power for too long. My heart truly goes out to those that have been affected. Being from Florida, I know all about natural disasters. We have hurricanes at least once a year, unless it's a good year like we had last year. We did not suffer from any hurricanes, but I do know that they are not fun. These ice and snowstorms are a whole nother thing though. They look honestly worse than hurricanes. Hurricanes have their own struggles, of course, but it's nothing compared to these ice and snowstorms, okay? So my heart just goes out to those that have been affected. I really hope you find enjoyment in today's video. Of course, if you do, please do not forget to leave a like and also subscribe if you have not already, and leave a comment down below. It could be what your favorite part of today's build is, or if you have a request for a future build you would love to see me do, definitely leave those down below, because every Friday I do post a video of me building one of my subscribers requested builds. So if you would love to be included in a future video, definitely leave those comments down below, and don't forget to subscribe and ring the notification bell so that you do not miss an episode. With all of that being said, let's go ahead and get into today's build. So for today's build, we are over in San Sequoia. I absolutely love San Sequoia. It's one of my favorite neighborhoods in The Sims 4. It's not like my favorite, my all-time favorite, but it's definitely one of them. Especially as far as the expansion pack neighborhoods go, San Sequoia is one of the better ones. I don't love all of them. I guess my second favorite would probably be Copperdale, but Copperdale, honestly, the lighting kind of sucks, and I don't love the lots that are included. A lot of them are like super small. They're like 20 by 20, 20 by 15, so it's hard to fit a family home on them. And I love how like neighborhoods like this and Willow Creek and Oasis Springs, most of the neighborhoods, they have sidewalks in the front that you can lead a sidewalk directly to the front door from the sidewalk in the front. But in Copperdale, I noticed a lot of the edge of the lots don't go all the way to a sidewalk in front, if that makes sense. And so you kind of just have to form a pathway in some random spot to get to the front door, or you just kind of put some dirt terrain paint in the front to make it look like it's like walked on and stuff, and I don't love that, okay? I honestly kind of hate it. I can't stand it. I really want the edge of the lot to go right up against a sidewalk in the actual neighborhood. It just makes it look so much more realistic and a lot more cohesive and better too, if that makes sense. And so yeah, that's my only complaint about Copperdale. Well, those few things are my only complaints about Copperdale. Other than that, I love Copperdale and I love high school years in general. But I do have to say that growing together as a whole is better. It's more like the Generations pack from Sims 3 that everybody knows and loves, and I love that. I love family gameplay, so of course growing together is right up my alley, but high school years is like a close second. Something else that I really love in San Sequoia is that they made that like driveway detail. So you see how in the front there's like a sidewalk with like a curb, but off to the right side where I have my driveway that I put there, there's actually like a hill going up it, kind of like you see in real life. And I absolutely love that detail. They definitely thought about us simmers, us builders that loves to put driveways, and I love that. Most of the time I'll put like a car in the driveway to give it the realistic look, but in this case, if you look off to the side of the lot, you'll actually see that there's a car there. And I figured this family, they parked their car off the lot to the side so that their kids could play the basketball hoop that's actually on the driveway. And I love that little like storytelling piece. And most of the time when I do driveways on my builds, I'll actually tie it to a garage. Like I'll put a garage on the house and then I'll put a driveway in front of it. And then sometimes if I want that basketball hoop on the driveway, I will put a car in the garage just so it looks like there's like a car for the family, because I know you can't use cars in The Sims and so it's kind of unneeded, but I really love the storytelling aspect of it. And I really wish we had cars in The Sims. I know that I say that all the time, literally all the time. You're probably tired of hearing me say it, but I just remembered the good old days of The Sims 2, The Sims 3 too, but I haven't been a huge Sims 3 player, but I've been a huge Sims 2 player my whole life. And I just love the cars. I think they could totally do it in The Sims 4. I don't know if we're really gonna get it or not. I have suspicions if we are, because of some items we have in the game from recent like kits and other packs and stuff, but most likely not, because I hear The Sims 4 is coming to an end, supposedly. This is all rumors and speculation, though. But I feel like they totally could add cars. They could do it like The Sims 2, how The Sims 2 Sims would like step into the car, close the door, back up out of the driveway, and then exit off the side of the lot, and then it's like a loading screen. I feel like they could totally do that here in The Sims 4, but let me not get my hopes up or hold my breath, because I'll probably be holding my breath forever. I mean, at the very least, I guess we have fake cars that we can have that little storytelling aspect. That's better than nothing, I suppose. But anyways, we have a really good start on our build. So I do have a pool in the backyard, and I actually made it to where the pool area is like fenced off. And I typically hate the way the fence looks around the pool, but it is very realistic, especially for a household that has a lot of kids, because it's like a safety feature, you know? Like if you have young kids, young infants or toddlers, or even kids at that point, in real life, it's smart to have a fence around your pool so that you don't have any accidents that happen. And so I like that realistic aspect to include it here in The Sims. And this fence is actually from Backyard Stuff. And I think this is the cutest fence ever. It's like a picket fence, and I love that. I love a good white picket fence. I do love a good white privacy fence too. I usually do that, but for a nice change, if I'm using packs, this picket fence is like my second choice for sure. And it's really nice if you have to have like a single tile gate, if that makes sense. Like the white privacy fence from base game, you have to have room to put a gate that has 2 tiles because it's a larger gate, but this one has a smaller gate that fits on 1 tile. So that's really, really nice. And of course I had to include a water slide. I just can't stop with the water slides, guys. And my last build or so, I really wanted to put a purple water slide, but I didn't because I had so many purples around. But this time I said, you know what, I'm doing my purple water slide, and I'm glad that I did, because look how pretty it is. I think it is so cute. And I also do end up including some pool floaties in there too. I know the pool is kind of on the smaller side, but you could totally like remove the pool floaties and put them in your Sims inventory if you don't have enough room in your pool. But I just wanted to include it because it gives it an extra cute detail and it makes it so colorful. I absolutely love the rainbow swatches. It just makes it look so bright and happy, and I love that. So the colors for our build on the inside, I decided to go with like a darker brown just to change it up a little bit. I do prefer the light brown swatch on a lot of the flooring, but this specific flooring, I love how it has the different browns in it. And it has like a beige mixed with like a darker wood, and I think that looks really, really good and gives a lot of extra detail, and it's also just not too dark at the same time. You know what I mean? And I know that this is a small house. Typically on a smaller house, you want to keep light colored furniture, fixtures, and flooring and stuff, and wall color, just to make it seem bigger. But I kind of loved the feeling of how cozy it felt in here and how it is kind of on the smaller side with such a large family. I feel like that is so fun to play in The Sims. A large family in a small house, it just makes for like a really fun gameplay dynamic. So at this point in the build, we're actually working on the kitchen, and the kitchen is on the smaller side, and I'm not able to put as many clutter items as I originally loved to do because of how small it is, but I was able to fit enough. And I actually really love to do this sort of like split plan on the kitchen, I guess is a good way to describe it. So I have like the initial kitchen on one side, it has like the corner piece, and then on the other side there's a couple other cabinets. Usually I like to put a coffee bar right there because I love a coffee bar, and I want one in real life. I need to make one. I guess I kind of have a good area to put it. I'm not 100% sure. But in The Sims, if I'm able to put like two counters next to each other on the opposite side of the kitchen, I love to make that the coffee bar. But in this case, instead of doing the coffee bar, I ended up putting one of those stand-up mixers from Home Chef Hustle, and then next to it I put some cereal boxes and a couple of bowls to make it look like your Sim's about to make some cereal, or maybe they just made some cereal, because I chose the swatch that had some like cereal pieces on the counter, and I just love that. I think it's so cute. I know in real life that would make me so mad. I'm like, what, are you trying to have bugs? Especially if I had kids. But in The Sims, you don't really have to worry about that too much. Unless you're in that TLC apartment, then yes, you do have to worry about them roaches, okay? And I think I also ended up putting a grocery bag next to the cereal boxes, if I'm not mistaken. And I did clip it to the counter, by the way, guys, so you should be able to use both of those items. And then in that window above it, I put that like 3-tier fruit thing. The fruit bowl on the 3 tiers. I love to put those in front of the windows. I don't know if that's typically what people do, but I do know that is what my mom used to do. When I was a kid, she had a fruit thing just like that, and she put it in front of the window where the sink was. And so I kind of like to do that in The Sims. It's kind of nostalgic for me, I guess, and I think it looks really, really cute at the same time. And then on the other side, on like the main set of counters where the fridge and the stove is, and the sink, I believe, the sink, I ended up putting just like a picture frame in front of it because I couldn't put a window there. I could have put the sink where the windows were, but it drives me crazy if the sink is not in the middle of the windows, if that makes sense. And there's only 2 counters there, which means the sink would have to be on the side of the window. And that makes my OCD go crazy. And so I ended up putting it on the other side instead, and I just put like a picture there, and I chose the picture that had a grilled cheese on it. I thought that was perfect for The Sims. I thought that was so cute. I was indecisive on if I wanted to do that or if I wanted to do the one with like some wine glasses, but I had to go with the grilled cheese swatch. And then I did a microwave, and on top of the microwave, I actually added a cutting board with some like cooking books on top of it, and I thought it was cute. I like to put some clutter on top of the microwave. You have to do some extra steps in order to do that, but I do think it's worth it. It just makes it look more cluttered and a little bit more realistic too. So we actually got done with the living room and the dining room as well already. And it's kind of like an open floor plan, and the dining table isn't necessarily directly in front of the window, which does also kind of irritate me, but that's just how the floor plan happened. I couldn't really help that too much. And then the living room, the furniture that I ended up using for it is from one of the kids, I think the refined living room kit if I'm not mistaken, and it reminds me a lot of those base game couches, like the super like boxy looking ones. And I kind of like them, but I kind of hate them at the same time. I have like a love-hate relationship with those. We just don't really have a lot of good couches in the game, and that drives me so crazy. A lot of the best couches don't have a matching love seat, and that irritates me so bad. I don't know why the Sims team does that. Like, why would you have a 3-seater sofa without a matching love seat? Make it make sense. It doesn't make sense to me, but that's what they do for some reason. Um, and then I put a coffee table in front of it. I put some pillows on top of the couches just for some extra decoration. I stuck with like a brown and green and beige color theme, kind of like an earthy color theme. This house in general is very, very earthy, which honestly, I happen to love earthy builds in The Sims. I like all builds in The Sims. I like all like different color schemes though. It really just depends on the mood for me. That's the best part about building in The Sims, is that you can really change it up. And I love that. If I want to build a blue house, I can build a blue house. If I want to build a yellow one or a green one or a beige one, and it's just so fun to switch it up. Or else it's just too samey, you know what I mean? It's nice to be different every once in a while. So we actually got the parents' room done as well, and the parents' room is a little bit on the smaller side, but I was actually able to not only fit a double bed in there and a couple of nightstands on both sides, I also got a dresser with a TV above it, so if the parents get tired of their kids, they can go sneak away into their bedroom and watch TV. And then I was also able to put a computer desk in there, so that's super, super nice. And they have a master bathroom that is theirs specifically, and that mirror that I'm using above that sink has like pictures on it that I imagine is probably mom and dad throughout their life. You know, when they first met, maybe after they got married, and I just think that touch is super cute. I love that mirror. And I've never actually used this shower before now that I'm thinking about it. That shower is from Get Famous, I think, or Fitness Stuff, which I know is two totally different packs. But I think it's from Get Famous. But the gold frame on the shower just matched the gold on the sink that I'm using and the mirror. And so I said, you know what, let's do it. Let's switch it up a little bit. It's always nice to do that. And oh, I don't think I ever mentioned the ages of the kids that live here. So they have an infant, which is obviously what we're working on right now. And they also have a child and they have a toddler. So I kept the kids' ages relatively on the younger side. I didn't include any teens or anything like that in this house. I really wanted to keep them on the younger side. And we do have an additional bathroom for all of the kids to share, which is right here next to the parents' room. And on the other side of the house is where the other two kids' rooms are. And there is no other bathroom. There's only 2 bathrooms in this build. This is where the kids' room is. And I really wanted to change up the kids' room and the toddler's room a little bit. Actually, the toddler in itself is kind of different because I don't do a lot of toddlers in my builds anymore, I've come to realize. Ever since the infants came out, I tend to neglect the toddlers. I tend to forget about them, to be honest, which is kind of sad because the toddlers are still cute and they're still fun to play with. I just really, really love the cribs. And I mean, to be fair, the infants don't stay infants for very long anyways, so you can just replace the crib with a toddler bed and it's fine. And I think you can actually make the crib into a toddler bed. Like you can actually, if you have enough handiness skill, I think, or maybe you don't need handiness skill, but you can have your sim transfer it into a toddler bed, which I think was a really, really good touch from the Sims team. If only they would do that same thing with the couches. If they would have the couches and a love seat, like a whole set. You know, it's not that hard. Honestly, this room looks like it's perfect for like a preteen, like a kid that is just about to turn into a teen but not quite a teen yet. And it really would look good for a teen in general too. Like if you have a teenager, a toddler, and an infant, it could totally work. Like that room could go for any gender and any age. That's really, really nice how flexible that room is. I guess is the word I'm looking for. I don't know if flexible is the right word, but you guys know what I mean. And as far as the toddler's room, I really wanted to use that super cute car bed. I haven't used that in a build in a really long time, and I do think it's super, super adorable. It makes me remember those car beds from The Sims 2, but they were not for the toddlers, they were actually for the children. And I really wish that we had a car bed for the kids too, because kids like car beds. It's not only a toddler thing, but at least we have them for the toddlers, I guess. And I love the red and blue swatch for some reason. I don't know why, but I just think it is so adorable. I honestly kind of struggled with decorating the toddler's room because of the red and blue car bed. I chose that first to base the whole room off that because I knew I wanted to use that bed because I do love it so much. And so I really just tried to pair anything red or blue that I could find. So we have a red dollhouse, and I have that raccoon stuffed doll for the toddler. They can work on their social skill with that, and they have like a red striped shirt, so it matches perfectly. And then there's a toy box right next to the bed. I almost did a nightstand with a red lamp on it, and it's that lamp that's like a spaceship or a rocket ship. I think it's so cute, but I didn't have enough room to put a toy box, and so I had to delete the end table and put the toy box right next to the bed, kind of in place of the end table, if that makes sense. And as far as the skill building items for the child, I just put a mental table in there, and then that's really about it, I think. I don't think I did one of those violins, if I'm not mistaken. But they have a modular playground outside. They have that water slide by the pool. They have the pool in general. They can also work on their motor skill for that. And then they also have the basketball hoop. So they have plenty of skill building items outside of their room that I didn't really need to put too many inside of the room because the room's quite small, so I had to do like one thing. And that's honestly it for the inside. The inside came together very, very quickly. It's a small house, so I mean, what do you expect? On the outside, I have the pool like I was talking about earlier, the white picket fence, the basketball hoop, and I do have a modular playground for the kids and the toddler. And I also included some fairy lights on the back where the fence is. I love those fairy lights. They are from toddler stuff, and I think that they are so, so cute. And I also added some on the side of the house too, kind of like on the other side, and it's kind of tied to the tree. I did that on both sides. Where the oak tree is right here, I made the fairy lights kind of stop attached to the tree, so it looks like it's kind of, they attached it to the tree. And same over here on the left side of the house by the pool. Like I wanted the pool to be surrounded by the fairy lights because it looks so cute at night, doesn't it? And then next to the pool on the outside of the fence, we have the umbrella table and chair set. And I do also include a grill right in front of that staircase that's there. And you've probably seen I ended up putting a toddler slide too. I do move that though. Where I have it now, it doesn't stay there. I end up moving it more next to the modular playground just because I end up putting landscaping and the landscaping's in the way, so I couldn't keep it there. I do think it looks really good where it's at, but yeah, like I said, the landscaping just pushed it out. So we are now just adding the landscaping, And I'm doing these hedgerow bushes that are from the Diva catalog mixed with those really big bushy bushes and these really big circular flowers, but instead of the yellow swatch that I always do, I am doing the pink swatch, pink slash purple. I guess this is more on the pinkish side. And it's nice for a change. It kind of matches the window boxes. So these window boxes with the colors, the yellow and the blue and the white matches other flowers, but the red and the pink, there's not a whole bunch of flowers that really match those swatches. Depending on the lighting, when you're looking at it, it does match, but sometimes it doesn't. Like sometimes it's a little bit darker, a little bit more purple on the window boxes than the actual flowers. Like you see, this is the perfect scenario how, well, not really. It's the perfect example to show how it doesn't really match. They're not exactly the same flowers. And I really wish that they would include some like ground flowers that you could put around the house that matches the flower boxes perfectly, if that makes sense. But at the very least, those like hedgerow flowers, they're exactly the same as these circular ones. So it almost looks like it's the exact same flower, just shaped differently. So I'm also including some of these patio chairs out here, and these are actually from Base Game. And I don't get to use the Plum Bob swatch very often, and so I said, you know what? There's not really a swatch that matches this color scheme anyways, so let's just go with the Plum Bob ones. It makes sense for the Sims. So we have the Plum Bob chairs, and then in the kitchen, we have the grilled cheese picture. So this is perfect for Sims. It really is. It's like the Sims dream home. And then on the end table, in between those patio chairs, I just put one of those citronella candles. And I also put a citronella candle on this umbrella table and chair set. I wanted to include a plant on that table, but it didn't fit. And at this point, I really didn't feel like grabbing out that shelf to raise it up to put it on top of the table. So I said, you know what, it doesn't need a plant, it's fine. It's cute enough with the citronella candle. And then you see, and I also put a grill right in front of the staircase. And then next to the grill, I put a little end table. And on top of the end table, I put some like patio stuff. Like I think I put one of those grill utensil holders. And then I also put, oh no, okay, no, I was going to do that, but I ended up just putting one of those drink trays instead from Backyard Stuff. And that is actually a functional item. You can make your Sims make lemonade or tea and serve it on that serving tray. And other than that, I'm really just doing some last minute terrain paint. I decided to make these sidewalks kind of spread apart and not all one line because I thought it made it a little bit realistic that way. I think it's cute. It looks like little like stepping stones, you know? So we have officially finished the build for today. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you do want to download it, it is available. That's my cat trying to open my door. I'm not lying, guys. But if you enjoyed it and if you want to download it, it is available on my gallery, which is always linked down below. I hope you all have an amazing day or night, and don't forget to leave a like and also subscribe, just like I said earlier, okay? I hope you all have an amazing day or night, and I will see you all in the next one very soon. Bye, guys.